Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, this is the greatest time of the day. From the center of the universe, New York City, it's the main event you've been waiting for. It's time to go in the cage with Cyclone.
And once again, the Messiah has come home 48 times now. Wow. Hope all of you guys are having a great Monday. It started out wet, as incredible thunderstorms early this morning. Then it turned into crazy wind this afternoon. Almost got bowled over like 3 times, and not from cars either. Wow. April is going to end with a bang, everyone. Not only is today show number 48, but we end April with show number 50. 50th anniversary show. I think it's time to like toga party or something. I think it's only fitting. Although I don't know if I could fit into a toga. I don't know. And on that show, a former guest is making their second appearance. So the 50th show is going to be huge. It's 50, and a returning guest is coming back. And like I've been teasing, next week, a WWE, WWF, WWF Hall of Famer stops by. I was thinking, do I tell you guys now? Do I spill the beans, so to speak? And you know what? I think I will. I don't think I'm going to tease it during the week. I think I'm just going to tell you guys right now. It is legendary former champion, the incredible, the icon, Bob Backlund. Yes, Bob Backlund next week is on the show. So you guys are not going to want to miss that. It's going to be freaking amazing. I know, because I know what's going to happen. And it's going to be amazing. And just one other wrestling note before we get into this whole big shingdang. I don't know if it's just me, but I don't think it is. Is John Cena starting to morph into like JBL? I mean, look, I'm not want to talk about looks because, look at me. I look like a brontosaurus in his 15th trimester. All right? But the fact of the matter is, John Cena's not aging properly. He's like morphing into JBL. I don't know. That's just what I think. Maybe you think so. Let me know. Comment and let me know if you think I'm right, like I normally am. That being said, I also want you to click share. Pretty please, share the show. Let's blow this son of a bitch up. Check out CycloneComedy.com. And most importantly, even though today's windy and earlier rainy and it's cold out, summertime's coming. You're going to need t-shirts. You're going to need short sleeves. And the best place to find the best and the greatest t-shirts, right there, effectiveaggression.com. Check them out. Tell them Cyclone sent you. Like I said, we got plenty to talk about. And we're going to start with the sweet science, a little bit of boxing, if you will. And we're going to do that all right after this.
This is Frank Edgar. This is the Barbarian Tim Bosch.
I'm World Series of Fighting undefeated lightweight champion Justin Gaethje.
MMA legend, UFC Hall of Famer, Iceman. Check it out. If you got the guts, step in the cage with Cyclone.
This is Frank Edgar. This is the Barbarian Tim Bosch.
I'm World Series of Fighting undefeated lightweight champion Justin Gaethje.
MMA legend, UFC Hall of Famer, Iceman. Check it out. If you got the guts, step in the cage with Cyclone.
This is Frank.
I just want to do something. Hi, Brian Horan. Chopperaka. It's not iced tea. Happy, Brian? Now we can get down to the business at hand. Obviously, Vasyl Lomachenko taking on a mandatory opponent, Anthony Corolla. And the one thing that's hard to understand about boxing is mandatory opponents. When, not commissions, but when councils tell you who you have to fight. It's really, really hard at times to get up for certain fighters, okay? And there is such a huge gap between Lomachenko and what Anthony Corolla was, what he is now. He really had no business being in the ring with someone like Lomachenko. No shock, no surprise, completely outclassed Anthony Corolla. He kind of took the first round off just to, the cat always doesn't just jump on the mouse. The cat sometimes plays with the mouse. And when Lomachenko turned the switch on his head, and he's like, okay, it's time to turn this heat up, he just completely took over the fight, which is expected. Okay, Loma is pound for pound number one. There is nobody better. You could say Errol Spence, you could say Terrence Crawford, you could say, if you're a freak for the heavyweights, you could say maybe Wilder. You could say maybe Fury. You could make an actual good argument for Alexander Usyk to be pound for pound number one. But the fact of the matter is, it's Lomachenko. Okay, his movement, his cutting angles off. It's just remarkable that one guy can do it. Only thing with Lomachenko is I really hope he's clean. TJ Dillashaw is someone who trained under him at times. He trained under him for both of the Cody Garbrandt fights. And we all know what TJ Dillashaw is now. And that's just a fraud. I hope the pupil didn't learn that from the teacher, so to speak. Anyways, Loma cracks Corolla. Jack Rice, who's one of the best refs in boxing, gives him a standing 8 count. Loma, gets told, go to the clean corner. And all of a sudden, the commission, security guys come in the ring and cut off Loma, and they think it's the end of the fight. Jack turns around, sees them in, and basically kicks both these commission guys out who had no business being in the ring. It frustrates me to see that. Okay, it's one thing if a judge scores something that completely opposite from the other two judges, or three judges score a fight completely opposite from what actually happened in the ring. you could say, there's so many factors to go into judging a fight. But just watching, if the ref doesn't call a fight off, why in the blue hell are you getting into the ring if you're a commission guy? Why? So that was in the third round. Very early in the fourth round, Loma comes out and, like a heat-seeking missile, just cracks him. Brian, if Bob Backlund was to put me in a cross-faced chicken wing, okay, you better hope I never get out, because I will pour a bunch of Snapple iced teas on your head. Got it? And by the way, the only chicken wings Backlund's bringing me is like KFC chicken wings. Anyways, Loma comes out like a heat-seeking missile, cracks him right behind the ear with a right hook, and geez, Corolla face plants. Boom, that's it, and it's done. Hey, Rudy Asher, you were late today to do something. As a matter of fact, Brian Horan and Harry Hung, you guys didn't do what Rudy didn't do either. You guys got to get on the ball. You got to pay attention. I can only do so much. I can only bring you guys to the water. It's up to you guys to drink. Now for what was, as I said 100,000 times over, the most important fight in women's boxing history happened this weekend. Clarissa Shields, two-time gold medalist for the U.S. Olympic team, against Christina Hammer. Now look, Lali Ali, Heather Hardy, Chrissy Martin. There have been so many great female boxers, and they just have never, for whatever reason there is, just never have gotten the respect that they have deserved. And truth be told, going into this fight, Christina Hammer is 24-0. She couldn't move in Europe without being bombarded by fans. You put her in the U.S. and nobody knows who she is. And that's honestly a shame. Okay? Women's boxing, these girls put it all on the line, and they really, really deserve to have their fights on par with the guys. And that's coming out of the mouth of a former chauvinistic pig. It really is. It's high time, forget about being in a PC world. It is high time that these athletes, these incredible athletes, doing something that most of the rest of the planet is never going to do, gets the credit they deserve. So there was a lot of chirping back and forth between the two of them. They were supposed to fight a while back. And look, Clarissa T-Rex Shields did what she had to do. Her shots were precise. She didn't, no wasted energy whatsoever. Left jabs all day, straight right overhand rights all day, just connected on Christina's chin all day long. And Clarissa winds up obviously winning unanimous decision, and she is now unified all the straps for the middleweight division, become the linear champion, something that she deserves, something that she is setting records at being the fastest to accomplish everything she has accomplished. Hey, welcome back, Susan Walker. How are you? How's the weather in Iowa? See, I almost said Idaho, but it's Iowa. See, fast thinking. I think before I speak most of the time. Not always. So yeah, everything she threw landed. Now, just like in the Loma fight, Clarissa took her time early. So Christina came out, she landed early. And then again, she landed a couple of good shots late, but she had nothing for Clarissa. She pieced her apart. And afterwards is what you could say is the wanting to level up, if you will. Okay, there's no really good phrase for it. Okay, Clarissa was at this level, beating Christina puts her on this level, and now she wants to jump up here. She wants to make that huge jump. She called out Cecilia Barkus, who is, she is just a force. Okay, there is an unmatchable level of skill there. Okay, obviously Barkus is the undisputed welterweight champion. So Clarissa said she'd be willing to do a 154 catchweight. Now here's the thing. And it's a little bit of an MMA crossover that you guys should keep an eye on. Clarissa Shields trains with Chris Cyborg. The Chris Cyborg Cecilia Barkus fight has been talked about since Cyborg was still an Invicta. Okay, these two have gone back and forth, and it's just never happened because Cyborg's always been under some sort of an MMA contract. The UFC doesn't even list female featherweight on their rankings, which is a crime in itself, which I'm not going to get into. Okay. However, Cyborg has, it's either 1 or 2 fights left in her contract. I'm telling you, she's going to leave to go into the boxing ring and take on Barkus herself. Whether Cecilia wants to come down to 154 and take on a red hot right now Clarissa Shields, who will be faster. I mean, the power is completely Barkus's. A height advantage, a reach advantage, a power advantage. Everything leans one way, except speed. In this type of a matchup, Clarissa will have a huge speed advantage. So I don't know if Cecilia Barkus is going to bite. You know, Christina threw the hook and the lure in the ocean. Don't know if it's going to, be worth it. She said also that if Cecilia isn't willing to fight her, and I'm willing to bet she's not. Okay, she also mentioned that she wants to run back a loss when she was an amateur to Savannah Marshall, and she's willing to fight her in her hometown of England. That probably will be Shields' next fight. Because, like I said, I can't see Barkus going down to a catchweight for this. It's not. She has nothing to win in that situation. Not that it's a lose-lose, but it's a lose-win where there's really nothing for her to gain. Okay. One other kind of boxing-esque piece of news. Former Bellator fighter, Irish Brennan Ward, who retired from MMA because he said he wanted to spend time with the family, has now signed with Bare Knuckle FC. And it's just another guy wanting to do something incredibly violent. That's what Bare Knuckle FC is. Look, I love it. I love to see two guys beat the piss out of each other. Okay? But it's taking years off of people's lives at this point. And I don't understand why do it. I like it. I enjoy it. But just look at Jason Knight's face. Just look at Artem Lobov's face. Look at their hands. If you're fighting bare knuckle, you break one hand. Okay, now you're left with one hand. You break that hand. There's no takedowns. There's no jiu-jitsu. There's no sambo. There's no judo. There's no nothing. You're going to get smoked, or you're going to sit on the stool and just say no mas. And I don't see a single one of these athletes ever calling it quits on the stool. Ego won't let this happen. Okay? So, that's the world of boxing. Now, when we come back, we're going to start in with all the MMA fun. And boy, is there a whole lot to get through. So, guys, click share. Susan, click share. Rudy, click share. Harry Hong, share, okay? Don't play this no game. Click share, okay? Then check out Psyche Prods on Facebook. Obviously, as always, pretty please. Check out Effective Aggression. I guarantee you will find something that you want to buy. And then you'll buy it because you do what you want. Okay? Now, I want you to stick around because, like I said, we got MMA right after this.
Hi, I'm Jim Miller.
This is Dan Merigliotta.
I'm Derek Brunson.
I'm Nick the Carney Lance, and you're lost.
Turns the leg again, makes it in the air, boom, smack, bang! At this head kick, I think that reminds me of the Edward Kelly against Bob Mound, like knee/head kick just starching.
Incredible. Two crazy finishes right there. And you know what? They came from one championship. I keep telling you guys over and over again. Watch one championship. You guys will fall in love. One championship is that pretty blonde with like a 38 triple D standing on the side. You automatically get infatuated and fall in love. And you sit there like this and you watch. One championship is infectious. You will, I guarantee it, fall in love with that company. Okay? And let me make a prediction about one championship. Write this down. This is going to happen. They didn't go after Bellator free agents. They didn't sign Bellator fighters. They didn't sign LFA fighters. They didn't sign any of the company's fighters except for the UFC fighters. They made the trade with the UFC. Okay, true, that's where DJ was, so they had to make a trade with the UFC. But I'm telling you, one championship is looking. I don't know if it's going to be in 2019, but during at least 2020, one championship is coming to North America. Not to Mexico. Well, maybe to Mexico. Maybe to Canada. But I'm telling you, one championship will have a card somewhere in the continental United States. Now, Chatri, who runs the show, Chatri worked on Wall Street originally. So he has a connection with New York. He trained at Henzo Gracie's. Has a connection with New York. New York's the center of the universe. Where else outside of Malaysia and Europe will one championship go? New York. I guarantee it. Sometime in 2020, one championship is in New York. Now, as far as those two finishes are concerned, the first one was Martin Gwynn retaining his featherweight championship. Flying knee from hell. That came out of nowhere against the cage. And the head kick, oh my God, that head kick was from Joshua Pacheco as he regains in the rematch his strawweight championship. And that's the thing about one championship. Their divisions are so different than what we see here in North America. The only thing stopping, I think, one championship from coming, especially in New York, is commission's really, really strict on rules and regulations. So I don't know. I mean, guys could be on every type of juice imaginable there. It could be like the old Pride days, the Wild Wild West. I know in Rising it's still the Wild Wild West. Those guys couldn't pee clean if you paid them. So I don't know. If it's not New York, I'd say LA, maybe Vegas. But one championship is coming to the States in 2020. I'm telling you, it's going to happen. Write it down. Got a give out big congrats. The second announced UFC Hall of Famer, Rich Franklin. Yay, Rich. Two biggest memories I have right off the top of my head of Rich Franklin. Him knocking out my hero, my idol, Chuck Liddell, out of nowhere. That knockout should have never happened. Chuck had that fight won. I will say it till I am 6 feet under in a cardboard box. And the other Rich Franklin memory I have, the throwdown war with Wanderlei Silva. I mean, I think that both still reeling from that fight. So, big congrats to Rich Franklin. Another prediction I'm going to make for you guys can take to the bank. Karolina Kowalkiewicz has a fight on June 8th, I believe it is. It's in Chi-Town, Chicago, at UFC 238 against Alexa Grasso. That, if Karolina wins, and it's a big if because Alexa Grasso is a bulldog. If Alexa Grasso beats Karolina, I say Karolina, after the fight, takes the gloves off and puts them in the center of the cage. I think she's walking away from the sport. Look, she's accomplished so much in her life. She went from a swimsuit model to an elementary school teacher to damn near almost a strawweight champion in the UFC. She accomplished a lot in her life. To quote the line in My Cousin Vinny, her biological clock is ticking like this. And word is that there's some pressure from her boyfriend that they want to start a family, they want to settle down. So I think this is the perfect opportunity. If she loses, she walks away because, look, she she doesn't, I don't want to say she doesn't have what it takes to get to the top, but there's so many just strong chicks. I don't think she'd ever beat Rose. I don't think she can hang with Waterston. It's just so hard for her. Let alone like Jessica Andrade. You know, it's the top is really, really tough. I think this is where she walks away. If she loses, and sadly, I think she's going to lose. I think this is it. So if you're going to that card in Chicago, it's going to be a memorable night. You're probably going to see Karolina Kovačević's last ever fight. Now, I don't know if she'd come back after she has a kid. You know, that's tough for a lot of women. I mean, it's not tough for Michelle Waterston, but there's a lot that has to be taken into consideration, and I don't think she comes back. I think it's a wrap. Now we got all that out of the way. Let's get into UFC 236, all right? Obviously, everyone is still talking about the main and the co-main. Two wars. Gastelum against Israel is arguably, it's a nomination for Fight of the Year. Dustin becoming interim lightweight champ, well freaking deserved right there. But I gotta say, at least for me, I think the funniest moment, I don't know about funny, I think the most interesting moment was when Bruce Buffer read the scores for the Dwight Grant, Alan Jouban fight. Jouban thinks he has it wrapped up, says split decision. Dwight Grant, and the cursing out of Jouban's mouth was incredible. I just sat there like, oh snap. I gotta be honest, I scored it for Dwight Clark too. I see where the judges gave it that way. I don't think Allen did enough. I think Dwight did enough, and his shots landed more precisely. I think that's what I think that makes you a winner. But I think, as far as I'm concerned, take nothing away from the main and the co-main. The fight of the night, as far as I'm concerned, yes, you have Nikita Krylov avenging his loss to OSP. I don't know what is going on in the mind of OSP. I don't want to say OSP is a gatekeeper now, but man, I just don't know. OSP had a bad night. But fight of the night for me, outside of the main and the co-main, Khalil Roundtree and Eric Anders. Eric Anders basically fighting in his backyard from Alabama, fighting in Atlanta, while Khalil going to Thailand, studying Muay Thai, the best of all the arts as far as I'm concerned, getting everything down, working his ass off. And you saw every one of his movements not wasted. Khalil Roundtree just used to throw wild. Everything was precise. No wasted energy at all. And that's the sign of growth. Now, can he climb up to championship level? I don't know, but if he continues like that, absolutely he can. So, as far as I'm concerned, that fight is tops from 236. I've talked a lot, for those of you who know, I've talked so much about TJ Dillashaw and this EPO mess. He's done. Will he come back at the age of 35 when his suspension is over? Probably. But at bantamweight, you need speed. And at 35, I don't know if he's going to have it. Now, he could, in theory, it's not definite, I'm not making this a prediction, it's a possibility that he somehow asks for his release and he heads over to Asia. Now, I don't know if Chatri would sign him, but he can definitely find a home at Ryzen. And like I said, there he can take EPO till he's blue in the face, and they're not going to care. To me, he is the most disappointing fighter to ever be popped. Okay. Vitor with the TRT, I never looked at Vitor as that great to begin with. And he, as far as I'm concerned, is like the Barry Bonds of MMA. Okay? Just a creep as far as I'm concerned. John Jones. John Jones is one of those guys who also is like a Bonds, a Clemens, a McGuire. Did not need what he took. Okay. And look, the stuff he took is going to be in his system for a long, long time. Okay. Pictograms and all. So you got to deal with that when you fight him. Okay. He hasn't popped for anything else, and frankly, I think he knows there's such a microscope on him. I don't think he will ever take anything else. Ever again. I think John is now going to be squeaky clean. I really, really do. As far as I'm concerned, though, once you take something, you're never going to be a pound-for-pound great. And I know in that case, I am the minority, and that's a sad case. That is a really, really sad case that there are very few people like me that hold athletes to very high standards. If you take something, you're done. There's no excuse. There is no, oopsie. No. Doesn't fly with me. As far as now that Brock is done with the WWE, does he get DC next? I don't know. I really, really don't know if he gets DC next. I don't know if Stipe gets DC. And look, I understand that Dana said Stipe might get DC next. Here's the thing, folks. Dana White is a fight promoter. You got a better chance of believing a politician than a fight promoter. Fight promoters say what they got to say at that point in time. Okay? You can't believe a fight promoter. They never, ever, ever say anything straight. Okay? If there's one talking, you know he's not speaking the truth. Usually. So, I want to remind you guys. Pretty please. Pretty please. Click share. I want you guys to head over to effectiveaggression.com. Say I sent you. Get yourself a t-shirt. Get yourself a hat. Get yourself a signed Grit Love from a plethora of athletes, a plethora of celebrities, and we always have more coming in. So always keep your eyes on effectiveaggression.com. I got to remind you guys, Teresa's back. In a little while, Pinups, Cool Cats, and Comics. Obviously, Dennis is an okay guy. But Teresa is back tonight, I think. I hope. Otherwise, what I just said makes no sense. So, keep it right here on Strong Island Television, and stay tuned for that show. And when we come back, It's game time.
I'm Dennis Bermudez. Hi, I'm creepy Ian McCall.
Yo, I'm Kelvin Gastelum.
This is Mark Goldberg.
Yo, I'm the world's most dangerous man, Hall of Famer Ken Shamrock, and you're getting tapped out in the cage with Cyclone.
Happy anniversary, happy anniversary, happy anniversary.
And soon to be, happy anniversary, Brian Horan. And you know what, Brian? For your engagement, I want to say, Shalom L'chaim. Chaparaka, baby. I hope you're steaming as you watch this. Anyways, on this day in MMA history, two birthdays today. Chad Freeman, who is not a legend of the sport, but someone who had an outstanding career, turns 42. And then turning 30 is Karina Herrera. Great Invicta fighter she is. She is a hard worker when it comes to on-the-mat fighting. She's someone you should definitely check out. Karina Herrera. Also on this date in MMA history was Cage Warriors 75, which obviously, if you guys remember, present UFC fighter Jack Hermanson just wrecked Alan Carlos, TKO'd him in the first round, just made his life hell in a handbasket. And also on that card, Patty Pimblett, Patty the Batty, who, if you don't know, Patty looks like a 20-year-old John Lennon, took out Ashley Grimshaw. Then 2 years ago, today, UFC on Fox 24, Demetrius DJ Johnson, Mighty Mouse, tapping out Wilson Hayes. And Doug Rose, in the words of Daniel Cormier, submitting out Michelle Waterston, the Karate Hottie. And that's what happened in today's day in MMA history. Now, you know what? I think now is the perfect time to do everybody's favorite part of the show. Let's do a raffle. So we only have 3 entrances this week, okay? Question number 1 comes from Kenny Hodgkins. Kenny, I can't wait to see you at the next Bellator card at Mohegan Sun, which I'm telling you is going to be the featherweight Grand Prix first round. Probably going to be Josh Barnett's debut in the company. All probably, I'm telling you, going to happen. Mohegan Sun. October, I'm telling you. Anyways, your question. Where does Max Holloway go from here? Well, look, Dana White said he wants Max to go back down to 145. And I don't think that's... Even though he got tagged up and beat pretty bad, here's the thing about Max. The size difference was huge. It looked like a lightweight beating up on a featherweight. Now, Max is a huge featherweight. If there was kind of like a division in between, but now you'd be talking about divisions every 5 pounds, and that's just too much. Even I can admit that. What I want to see Max do is take a year off. Vacate the featherweight title, just hand it over. I want to see Max Holloway take 12 months away from in-cage fighting. Get yourself bigger, stronger, better, and come back. And I think he could. I still say he can hang with the lightweights. It's just he needs to size up. Okay. So there's your answer in a nutshell. Let him give up that featherweight strap. Go away, get bigger, get stronger, get better in every facet of the game, and then come back and kick ass like only you can. Max blessed, because we in a blessed era. I'd like to see him stay at lightweight. So there's your answer. Question number 2 comes from Storm Estes. It's been a long time, Storm. Welcome back, sir. Your question is, how do you see the match of Dustin and Khabib playing out? That's if it happens. Just because Dustin is now interim champion doesn't necessarily mean he gets Khabib next. Interim belts mean nothing. Just ask Colby Covington. They mean nothing. They should be the golden ticket to face the champ, but it's not always the case. If they do fight, and I know they were both teasing September at Abu Dhabi, but remember, Khabib is not coming back till his teammates' suspensions are over. He's not coming back till November at the Garden. He had the opportunity to cut his suspension down. He turned it down. So this talk of him in Abu Dhabi, which, look, I'm totally against the company going to that part of the world. I know Abu Dhabi is basically a democratic country, one of the very few besides Israel, in that part of the world. No, I don't see the need to go to Abu Dhabi. Okay, Abu Dhabi, home to the grappling championships and the IBJFF, I believe it is, and all those type tournaments and the jiu-jitsu tournaments. Keep that there. The UFC doesn't need to go there. Anyways, I know I'm rambling, but it's part of your answer to your question. If it goes down that way, where Dustin does fight Khabib likes to not listen to Javier Mendez. When Javier tells him not to try to throw hands, ego gets the best of him and he tries to throw. He threw with Conor, and look, he caught Conor. Anybody could be caught, anybody could be clipped, and he dropped Conor. Nobody saw that coming. Okay? You could have won $1 bazillion if you would have put that on a bet, that he would drop him with a punch, not like a kick, not a takedown, dropping Conor with a punch from Khabib. A little bit different than like Francis Ngannou punching, but if Dustin draws him in to a brawl, Khabib's going to get slept. He is. Dustin can easily KO Khabib. It's one way for him to finish. He could finish him on the ground. Obviously, on the ground, Khabib gets that much of an edge, but Dustin's no slouch on the ground. Who do I see winning that? Even though I just said Khabib can get KO'd by Dustin, I kind of lean a little bit towards Khabib in that fight. It's just the way early I'd have to see a training camp. I'd have to see so much more. But just because he's interim champ doesn't mean that's going to be the next fight. So we'll see what we shall see, as my grandmother used to say. And question number 3 comes from Miss Susan Walker, who is trying to sweep the weekend because she won the UFC 236 prediction raffle, edging out Rudy Asher in a coin toss. And Susan's question is, and Susan, I got to tell you, your question was actually really, really good. Not that you haven't asked good questions before, but this one is really, really good. We see the damage kicks do, but never hear about how much it hurts to throw them. How much does it hurt to throw, and how long does it hurt afterwards? Here's the thing about kicks, Susan. When you're starting out and you're using rash guards, does it hurt you? Yeah. If you watch Kickboxer, for example, with Jean-Claude Van Damme, okay, kicking the tree, he breaks his shin, okay, or fractures it, whatever, bone tears through the skin. Also in Kickboxer, Tong Po, which is what they do in Thailand nonstop. They kick the stanchions that the posts from floor to ceiling, just kick the piss out of those things until they start to crumble. Once you build up the calluses, the strength of your shins, you really don't feel it. How long does it hurt the person getting kicked? I'd say easily a week. You walk in like a gimp. Okay. For the person throwing the kicks, maybe a day or 2 after the adrenaline comes down. So there's your answer. Now, let's pick a winner between these 3 fine people. The winner is numero 1, Kenny Hodgkins. Congratulations, sir. You win. So, your prize, much like Susan, your prize from Saturday, will be shipped out sometime tomorrow. I will head to the post office, and then I will hit you both up with your tracking numbers. So, until next week, when Bob Backlund stops by, and we have so much more stuff to talk about next week coming up. We have Terrence Crawford fighting at the Garden. I'll be there covering all that stuff. Until then, I am Cyclone, saying like I say all the time, just because you are not athletes doesn't mean you guys can't be athletic supporters. Bye-bye.